A long time since I've started a new career. I don't even have stack decouplers. A girder segment? Great. Oh man, I'm in the money. Real shoot? Well, that's interesting. Got a Kerbal engineer, that's fine. I don't have to buy it, do I? Okay, well. Okay. Let me see how this setup looks. And then I'm going to give it some time for some people to join. Loading video. There I am. Why am I frozen? Oh, okay. Alright. So let me see if the little UI, the little left, up, down. Alright, good. Looking at the rocket. The rocket's scrolling up and down. Then I'm pressing my ASTW, and I'm pressing my IJKLHN. Then I'm going to watch the stream and turn the stream down. Wow. And it's not working. That's fantastic. Well, that is what it is. Let's see here. Why would it not be working? I'm pressing ASDW right now. And... well, let me do this. When I look at the camera, I'm pressing ASDW because I don't know how much the stream delay is. I'm pressing the other things. Is it not going to work today? Let's see. Stream delay. Yeah, it's doing nothing. I'll have to look at that. I'm not sure why the little key thingy is not working. I do have it up, don't I? Let's see if I have it up. So when I'm over here, where's the little window? There's a little window, and it's in there. And apparently now it's working, because I'm not in Kerbal Space Program now, but it looks like it's working. So it only doesn't work... well, there's something just flickered. Oh, there we go. Well, that's annoying. I will have to... I'm probably going to have to run Kerbal Space Program in a window or something, I guess. Because it works when I'm not focused. Even if I'm not focused on the window, it works. But... is there anything in here? Hook, mouse, trap, keyboard? Does that have something to do with it, I wonder? I just clicked on that. Hey, what's up, K9? Right now, I've got this new little key displayer that shows when I'm using the rotate or translate keys, and I'm trying to get it working. I'm basically just trying to set up for the stream here. I was honestly just going to start a new career and do a kind of getting to orbit 101 from scratch in a new career with money and stuff. I didn't really have anything planned. I think what I'm going to do going forward is go over the progression for the week and start with like getting to orbit, and then rendezvous and docking, and then going interplanetary, and then landing, and then going interplanetary, and then building space planes on Friday or something like that. So that's kind of the general plan, although it's not a very specific plan so far. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Right now I'm just playing with this little keylogger thingy, trying to get it to display the keys on the stream. I also tried to tweak the video around and stuff so it wouldn't cover up the Kerbals, but we'll see how that works. Plus I removed the propeller head fan from over the top of my head. I'm not sure. We'll see. But that's just not working. So let me see here. Let me go back into the game and see if it works when I'm in the game. Alright, so now I'm in the game, and I don't see it on my screen, but I didn't see it always on top either. So now I'm pressing buttons. We'll see. But that's just not working. So let me see here. Let me go back into the game and see if it works when I'm in the game. Alright, I'm in the game and I was pressing... I'm watching so now I'm in the game. And I don't see it on my screen, but I didn't see it always on top either. So now I'm pressing buttons. That's freaking lame. Alright, well I'll probably just end up turning it off then. Because I don't see... Go back Wait a second. Game and see if it works on I've apparently got my Twitch stream open. Yes, I do. I'm in the game. And I don't see it on my screen. But yeah, hey, okay, good deal. That is exactly what I'm going to do then. I apparently had my stream open, so I had like a triple echo going. Oh, but that's not working. And we will have to get... See, it works now when I'm not in the game. But it doesn't work when I'm in the game. And I don't see like an always on top or anything. Heh. We will have to see. It may be that I have to run KSP in a window. Who knows? I'm going to go with the lower lighting tonight until I get a better light to point. Because yesterday, when I did that, it kind of screwed with my eyes, having the light turned on behind me. So we're going to have the deathly pale look. But anyways, let me turn this little no board thing off. Where's it at? The keycap. And that should take it out of the stream. Yeah, there we go. All right, and the stream delay is pretty good, and I'll turn that off, and then I'll get into the space program. And so I'm going to give it a couple... Why the face cam? That's an excellent question. Why not the face cam? I was just playing around with it. You don't involve yourself in IT for freaking 15 years of your life without putting together a box of odds and ends that includes at least 6 Logitech face cameras. Face cameras? When I was your age, we didn't call them face cameras. We called them webcams. But I am getting set up for the stream here. Alright, so anyways, yeah, why the face cam? Hope that answered your question. I'm giving it some time for some people to show up. Looks like I'm here, apparently. Adel, freaking spamming my channel with his stupid auto logins. Seriously? Not that I'm going to complain. K9, I already talked to you. TrainCom. What time is it where you work, TrainCom? Are you Eastern time like me? Is it 8 p.m. your time or something like that, I think? But I don't know. I moved the little camera thing over. It'd be a lot better with a chroma key that took out, you know, the window behind me and half of the fan or whatever. But I'm just gonna go ahead and play with it. Like I said, I'm just testing out stuff and trying to see how it works. We'll give it a couple more minutes for some more people to get in here. I'm starting like 15 minutes late because I had some other stuff going on. Also, that was lightning. Wow, are you gonna be able to see that on the stream? Look at the window behind me. You may have seen a flash of lightning. That would be awesome. Is it going to show up? There it was! How about that? It's apparently lightning outside, which is kind of cool. 17:30. Okay, so you're Central Standard Time. Good deal. So it's not too terribly late. So anyways, what I've done here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start talking because like I said, I'm already 15-ish minutes late. I had some other stuff to finish up. Tonight's broadcast, again, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Not because they pay me, but because I like to drink it. And what I've done is I've started a new career save, which I haven't done in a very long time. And it's actually career mode with money and science, so we're going to have to unlock stuff and we're going to have to earn money. And I'm going to combine kind of the starting your career with getting to your first orbit. And we're going to be doing some of both those things. I'm going to try to limit the session to 2 hours. So maybe I should retitle the channel. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me retitle the channel right quick. Getting to orbit. And we'll just call it Starting Fresh, actually. Starting Fresh, getting to orbit in a new career. Not even spelled correctly. That's exactly right. And actually, I'll just say Starting Fresh with a new career. If anybody comes up with a better channel title, post it over there. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this one, so we're going to be doing it live. A lot like it was when we went to freaking Dooney yesterday, but that worked out okay. So, anyways, only 2 hours were good. Alright, good to hear. Good to hear. Hopefully some other people join. I didn't check to see who else was streaming, so I don't know if KSP TV's on or whatever. I don't know. If the camera's not working good, if the sound's not working good, like I said, I just plugged all this stuff in from like an old junk box that I had sitting around. So let me know. It's none of this freaking 1080p nonsense that the kids use these days. But anyways, starting a new career. Yes, that is what we're doing. Excellent. Let me see if anybody else is there, and then we will check it. Hey, Green Ember, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. I'm going to be doing a starting a new career from scratch and going through kind of the first steps of what to do, how to get to orbit, how to get some science money, that sort of stuff. Then we got TrainCom, K9, Adel, the Lurker. But we'll see if anybody else shows up. But this one wasn't really a scheduled thing. Tomorrow we're doing, what are we doing tomorrow? Rendezvous and docking. So I know a bunch of people were interested in that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and go with this random career wackiness. We'll see how it works. But again, as always, I don't bite. If you have any feedback on where the camera's positioned or the fact that I look like I'm exposed to too much radiation from my monitors or whatever, let me know. Type it in the chat. If I have any questions on what I'm doing and you need me to slow down or you want me to look at something specific, let me know. Just type it over in the chat. I try to check the chat whenever I get a breather, when I'm not actively doing rendezvous and launches and that sort of stuff. So feel free to post stuff in the chat. So let me get out of here. I just did that so that I'd have a keyframe to put as the... You got thunder outside, so if you leave randomly, that's why. Nice. Me too. And if this entire freaking stream dies, it's because the lightning has perhaps struck a transformer nearby. So anyways, new career. I've only got $10,000, which is lame. I've got no freaking contracts. Nothing's going on. Nothing in Kerbal Alarm Clock. This is fresh. I actually think that it should show up as in the tracking station day 1, hour 1, minute 1, whatever. Maybe not minute 1. Oh, 43 seconds. So we're 45 seconds into this career. Delicious Dr. Pepper. So I think the first thing we're going to do, we start off with this $10,000, right? That's not very much money. We could just go out and start launching rockets. The problem is, right now if we launch rockets, we would spend the $10,000. We wouldn't get a whole heck of a lot of it back, and we wouldn't get paid for it, right? So the first thing we want to do is figure out how we can get paid. If you're new to Kerbal Space Program, you can do that from this Mission Control Center right here. It's this little building that has all the viewing windows that are conveniently watching, not quite the launch pad, but the sea past the launch pad, I guess. They kind of go in this direction, out to sea. But let's see if we can get some contracts and see what's in the game starting off 45 seconds in. We're just going to go ahead and click on Mission Control there. Apparently Gene Kerbal makes his noises. There's a couple different ways to get paid. We can launch a new vessel provided by the Kerbal World First Record Keeping Society. They just included these contracts in the latest update, the 0.24 update. And you probably don't need to read any of the flavor text. I'll go ahead and read one. Just, hey, Hagruna, what's going on? You're already nearly to Dune in your career. Hey, excellent. I'm glad that we were able to help you get out to Duna last night. Hopefully you can get the rest of the way. We're actually doing a bit of a step back tonight because I'm going back to starting a fresh career. And as I get into the kind of Space Academy thing, I think I'm going to reorder the sessions so that they kind of go in a progression. But yesterday we went to Duna. Today we've completely nuked the entire planet and started from scratch. We were 45 seconds into a career, and I'm getting new contracts from Gene Kerbal to see how we can make some money. I'll see if I can help you out with the Kerbal Alarm Clock thing when we get a break. So let's see what Gene Kerbal wants us to do. Launch a new vessel. I was talking about the worthlessness of the flavor text. Like many things in Kerbal Space Program, the flavor text is procedurally generated, the briefing text. I'll go ahead and read it. I don't know if I can do Gene Kerman's voice. It's no secret that we weren't making any progress at all towards learning if we truly did not know what we were doing. What? But for the chief bookkeeper at the Kerbal World First Record Keeping Society, that's a lot of hyphens, that was simply lacking. What was lacking? I don't think there's an object to that sentence. Admittedly, the way we would often be underestimating how volatile standard grade solid rocket fuel was, how, got, whatever. This text comes from a big old block of text. It randomly puts it together. You will learn absolutely nothing from reading this text. So, don't bother. Anyways, the important stuff is down here at the bottom. Prestige, I don't really pay attention to that. I think that's how much prestige you have to have in order to get this contract. I'm not sure. I don't think it does anything. Objectives is important. Launch a new vessel. Incomplete. Alright, that's because we're only 45 seconds into the space program. I think we just sat down with coffee to try and figure out who's going to fund all this. But important things about contracts. When you're looking at a new contract, you'll get this advance, right? If you see under rewards in advance, that's how much money they'll give you before you even start the contract. So as long as you accept this contract, you'll get that $18.35. The problem is, in red down there, if you fail the contract, really the only way to do it right now is to abort the contract and say, the thing I said I was going to do, I'm not going to do it anymore. You'll end up losing 2,000 credits. So you'll lose, what, a total of 165 credits, whatever. If you successfully complete this, though, you're going to get $45.87, 5 science, and 11 reputation. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and accept it by clicking accept contract. Same thing, set an altitude record. We want you to launch a new vessel with a altitude record of 5,000 meters. Achieve an altitude of 5,000 meters. They'll give me $459. I'm in the money now to start that one, and if I can successfully complete it, I'll get $22.94. Wow. In my other career save, I launched rockets that cost $1.6 million each. So I'm not used to this, but anyways, we're going to forge on ahead. Crack along or whatever. Escape the atmosphere. We want you to launch a vessel beyond the edge of the atmosphere at 70,000 meters. Let's leave these here for now because that's escape the atmosphere and orbit Kerbal. We'll come back to these. First, let's go launch a rocket and launch a vessel of any sort, actually, and set an altitude record of 5,000 meters. What I just did, there's a couple of different tabs here. It defaults to available. You can click on active to see the things that you've accepted. You've told Gene, all right, Gene, I think I can get this done. And archives things that you finished. You can also see our money has gone up. So from those 2 different contracts we accepted, we got 1835 plus 459. So from 10,000, which is what you start with, we went up to 12,293. Not a lot of money to launch rockets, but let's see what we can do. So 5,000 meters and launch a vessel of any sort. While it loads, let me see. More and more people coming to the stream here. Alifim, welcome. Chainsaw, welcome back. You've been a regular. Chakamole, how's it going? Sitherly, I've seen you before. Gene Kerman, wait a second, I was just talking to you in the freaking mission control. Green Ember, you were here earlier. Canine Hag, Sacred Shart. Seriously? And Traincom, I already said hi to. So anyways, we're going through the first steps through a new career. We're going to get all the way up into orbit. We're going to learn about getting to orbit, and we're going to learn about making money in a new career. And I'm going to drink delicious Dr. Pepper. So anyways, 5,000 meters in a new craft. What can we do? Let me just go ahead and toss this. We know anytime we build a craft, we need some sort of pod, a probe core, or a place for a Kerbal to sit. Kerbal to sit. The only thing we have when we start is the Command Pod Mark 1. So I guess that's what we're going to use. What do we have for propulsion? We've got 1 fuel tank. We've got 1 liquid fuel engine. And we've got 1 solid fuel booster. I wonder how high that solid fuel booster would get us. We don't have anything under control. Oh, a girder segment. Great. If you wanted to put a girder segment on top of your craft, that's outstanding. No aerodynamic. That looks important. Parachutes seem important. Not really anything for science ed, and no sub-assemblies. So let's do this. We know we're going to need a parachute on top of this puppy. We just need to launch a craft and get it to 5,000 meters. So let's do that as cheap as we can, right? The engine would cost us $850, and the fuel tank would cost us $425, so that's a total of $1,275. All right, $1,275 versus this thing, which is only $325. That's definitely the cheapest way to do it. So let's do that. We've got our pod, we've got our chute, and we've got the solid fuel booster. A cool thing, while you're over here building the rocket, if you can't remember what the contracts were, this is something that they added with this toolbar. You can hover over the contract thing down in the corner over there, and it'll tell you your active contracts. If you click on it, it'll stick. And so if you forgot what you were trying to do with this launch of vessel 5,000 meters, not really that big of a deal. But when you get into the silly stuff like test a Mark 62 radial decoupler when flying between 63,000 and 74,000 feet going 286 meters a second, then it makes a little bit more sense. I think we can get to 5,000 meters though. So let's see here. Oh, you can also minimize these things. If you have some of the more wordy contracts, you can minimize things you don't need the details on. You can also scroll up and down if there's quite a few. This is a rocket, spot for a Kerbal. We don't have any power generation. We don't have really anything to do. So let's go ahead and stage this thing correctly. Get me a new stage by clicking the plus, drag my solid booster down there. So step 1, fire the solid booster. Step 2, fire the parachute. let's get this thing saved. My very first rocket? First? I don't know how to put the W in first. Whatever. My very first rocket. Let's see what we can do there. So save and launch. Yeah, I'm totally... Hey, Golf Guy, welcome. I didn't catch you earlier. Crazy Monkey, first we're going to have to make some money, then we're going to make a friggin' huge rocket. I've started a new career, and I'm showing how to get from the starting line of $0 all the way up to new rockets. So, important thing, this is the first time we've ever been on the launch pad in this career. We can get some science. We can have Jeb here go right-click on the command pod and say, hey, Jeb, give me a crew report. And he will give us a crew report. Crew report from the launch pad. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. Awesome. I'm going to keep that. When you do things like that, make sure that you don't... Oops. Make sure that you don't accidentally click Reset Experiment. These buttons, not the greatest interface design. The buttons will move around from screen to screen. I'll show you that later. But you want to click this Keep Data thing here. So now we've got that. We could also have him do an EVA hanging on the side of the ladder and tell him that we want an EVA report. EVA report while flying over Kerbal shores. That's a good trick to learn. So if you're on a rocket that's landed somewhere and you get a Kerbal and you hang on a ladder, it actually counts as flying most of the time. So I can't put him down on the runway. I don't have a way to get back up right now. We'll do that later. But if you ever landed someplace, a biome on Minimus, biome on the moon, somewhere on Kerbal, and you need to get a flying over science report, you can just do an EVA, hang on the ladder, and do an EVA report from there. So we'll go ahead and keep that data. We'll press F to get back in the pod, and let's see how high... Oh, K9, that's an excellent... Ooh, let me write that down. Thank you for reminding me. I was trying to brainstorm of ideas, and we are definitely going to do a space station... session. So let me write that down. Space station... recommended by K9. I'll name the first space station after you because you recommended it. Thanks for helping me out. Harry Bucket. Welcome. Starting a new career. We're just getting started here. So anyways, the normal stuff we do is not really that important when all we have is a solid fuel booster. Panel lock, SAS engaged, throttle it up, which does nothing with a solid fuel booster. Whatever. And let's launch this rocket and see if we can... get our contracts done. So there, as soon as I hit go, I got a new reminder, a new message, contract complete. We've taken our first steps for space, and that's worth 4,500 funds apparently. Not too shabby. Let's clean that up. You can look at the contracts here, and if you click on the contracts tab, you can see we've completed that one, launch a new vessel, and we are going to try and get to an altitude. Well, there we just achieved 5,000 feet. That was easy. So we just banked what? We banked, 2,300 plus 4,500. So we just made what? 6,800 or so. Not too bad. Since that almost doubles the amount of money we had. But anyways, Jeb's way up here. Let's do some sweet orbital flips since we have nothing better to do. We've apparently just with a solid booster made it all the way up to 17,000. That's not too bad. What's our APOEPS going to be? 18.2. So note to self, if there's another contract that says get above 10 or 15, we can do it with this exact same ship. Good to know. Let's go ahead and time warp on back down. Clouds going by underneath me. I'm apparently going to impact the launch pad. That actually makes sense. Because remember, the further away from KSC you land, the less money you get back. So for your first couple missions, going straight back up and coming straight back down makes a lot of sense because we should get 99 or 100% recovery, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and pop the chute. There goes a little chute. That's just a little normal chute. And let's see what happens here. By the way, for everybody just joining, I'm doing kind of a live dry run here on starting a new career. It's been a long time since I've started a new career. If you've been in my other career, you've seen with the orbital fuel rotary and the Epic 4 lifters and that sort of stuff. That's clearly not a new career. We spent a good 2 hours just cleaning up junk that I had in orbit from previous missions earlier this week. So starting a new career is kind of a new thing for me. So I'm doing it live. Look at that. That's not a good thing. But it is what it is, because check it out. We're going to impact somewhere around 8 meters per second, and I don't remember what the impact resistance of this solid fuel booster is. We may be destroying that thing. Oh, hello, parachute. We may be destroying that thing when it hits the ground. Let's see. Most of the parts are 6 meters per second impact resistance, so we may lose whatever the empty weight of that thing is. Let's see if it blows up when we hit or if it bounces. Survey says, ouch. Alright, so we lost a solid fuel booster. That is a sunk cost, but we can recover Jeb here. Ooh, before I recover him, hey, actually that worked out well. Before I recover him, now that he's not up in the air on top of the booster, I can have him get down off the rocket, the capsule, I guess, and do a freaking surface sample. So he can take a surface sample for 9 science. The substance is what makes the scientists yell at us when we go into the labs without cleaning our boots. Har har. And can I do an EVA report as well? He doesn't think that a spacesuit was a... He raises a valid point. So let's see if we can get back in, board it, and recover the craft. It took me forever to figure this out. If you're new, when you've got a craft that's landed on Kerbal, you can recover it. If you hover over the thing at the top, it'll drag this little recover vessel down. Not to be confused with abort, which I don't think will do anything unless you set an action group for it. But you don't have to go to the tracking station, this thing over here, to recover your vessel. You can just hover over the top and click recover vessel. That should give us a summary of what happened on that mission. So let's see here. We got 23.5 science, informed the men. We got $1,000 back, so we didn't get to recover that that booster, but we did get to recover 1,000, which was 98%. Again, it says at KSC. If I land at KSC, I'll get 98%. If I land on the runway, I'll get 100%, and then everything else is kind of scaled down as you get further away. I think if you land on the other side of the planet, you'll get like a max of 10% or something like that. If you're like, dig a hole straight through Kerbal and put a rocket there, then recover it, I think that gives you at minimum 10%. But anyways, we recovered Jeb, we got some money back, we got some science, and we got paid for the contracts, which is cool. So, let's go back. Look at that. We almost doubled the amount of money we had on the first mission. 28.5 science. Let's see if we can unlock anything. I just skipped past that. This is the research center. Everybody who's played probably already knows that, but for anybody that's new, the research center is where you go to unlock science, basically spend your science points. And the first thing, oh, I'll be darned. Look at that. We started out there with these parts, which is cool. And to unlock the first part of the tree only cost us 5 science. We got 28.5 science on the first freaking launch, so let's unlock that stuff. So research that. That decrements our science by 5. What's the next thing? Hey, look, we can unlock something else. Sweet. Who knew? So let's see where we got. With that first unlock, we got a stack decoupler. That's cool. We got a mystery goo. That's more science. We've got a couple different size fuel tanks. That's cool. The pod is going to have enough control authority. Reaction wheel. We already had that. Okay. Let's see what we need next. Do we need a better engine and a bigger booster? That may be the way to go. Do we need decouplers, radial decouplers, and fins? Yeah, I'm not very excited about that unlock. Or do we need a more efficient engine and different parachutes? I think I'm going to go with this because this is going to let us get higher and farther with the combination of the stack decoupler, this thing right here that we unlocked for 5 science, and this bigger back solid fuel booster. We may be able to do an orbit, plus that gets us the LT-45, which has a gimbal on it. So I think that's where we're going to go. Let's go ahead and research with our 23 science. Research that. And let's go see if we can't grab more contracts to do. Ooh, how to hire Kerbals. Hey, good point, Trancon. Let me do that right quick. As you start off your new career, you'll only have a couple Kerbals. You'll have Bill, Bob, and Jed, the orange suit guys. At some point, you may want to get more, or you may kill the orange suit guys and need to hire more out of necessity. So, in order to do that, you go to the astronaut complex, which is this. Well, I can't scroll all the way down. Apparently, this building right here. you can click on the astronaut complex. It'll give you a list of Kerbals. Shepster, that's an awesome name. I like that. Halwise and Shepster in Lodock. Nice. I'm going to hire 3 more. Lodock, Halwise, and Shepster. Sonegel, Frowin. Anyways, you'll see that every Kerbal has 2 different statistics, courage and stupidity. In the stock game, that's a lot like the points in Whose Line It Is Anyway. They don't count for anything. It doesn't matter what the courage or the stupidity of your Kerbal is. However, there are some mods that, based on the stupidity of your Kerbal, will do different things with that. Like I know that there's one station science mod, and the smarter, not smarter really, but less stupid the Kerbals you have manning the station, the more science you get from it. So in the stock game, it doesn't matter. If you're running mods, it may matter what the stupidity rating is. But there we go. Now we've got Jeb, Bill, and Bob, Lodock, Halwise, and Shepster from there. So let's go get some more contracts. Again, from the contracts, we go to mission control, that little building. Wow. Apparently, one thing worth of success gets you a lot of different contracts. We could test a Mark 16 parachute. Kerbin, flying, 1400 to 1100, 330. That velocity is pretty high. And it doesn't really give us much. I'm not too terribly interested in that right now. Here's one. That one only pays us 1400. That one is testing a Mark II radial mount. Oh, so that would be an experimental contract. I'll explain what that means in a second. Here's testing the back solid fuel booster. I think we can deal that. Let's go ahead and accept that one, because that one pays out almost 10 grand. It pays out 9 grand. So I'm going to accept that one. The radial mount liquid engine, not interested. RT-10 solid fuel booster landed. $50. Seriously? We would lose money on that no matter what. That's more than the cost of the booster itself. Huh. Let's accept it anyways. Detect a stack decoupler landed at Kerman. And a radial decoupler landed at Kerman. So let's illustrate the ridiculousness of some of these contracts. I'm going to go ahead and accept all the ones that are landed. So we'll test that. We'll test that. Can we get to 2,200 meters? I think I can do that. I think I can do that. Can I escape the atmosphere? Can I get out to 70,000 meters? I'm not sure if I would be able to get out to 70,000 meters. But here's the deal. We can accept it. It's not that big of a deal, because when does it expire? You can see up here it says expires never. So even if we don't accomplish that on the next launch, it doesn't matter. Because this contract, once we accept it, will stay there until we say, I give up, which I hope you don't give up on escaping the atmosphere, or you actually accomplish it. So let's go ahead and grab it and orbit Kerbin. We'll come back and get that one. Even though that expires never, I'll come back and get that one in a minute. So, I missed a landed mission. Thank you. Yes, it is 24.2 is the version that I'm playing. What landed mission did I do? Oh, a radial mount engine. Hey, thanks. Good catch. Who was that? Sloan. Welcome, by the way, and thanks for catching that for me. I did miss a landed mission. So let's go build basically just a test rig that does a lot of this stuff. I think we've already saved my very first rocket here. And let's go ahead and see. You haven't unlocked yet. Hey Bob, what's going on? Yeah, I moved the camera over a little bit just so it wouldn't block the Kerbals. I'm not sure. I also changed the orientation. I have the lights off tonight, so I look like I've been irradiated by monitors. Kind of a sickly death pale look there. But whatever. Now when I'm looking this way, like I'm looking right now, I'm reading the chat. So when you see my head go that way, that's what I'm doing. This way is the monitor, that way is you, the stream. Yes. That's an excellent point, Alfium. I will point that out when we get to it, the experimental parts. And you can totally exploit that in a lot of cases. So we need command and control. We got to use the pod. It's all we got. Let's expand our contracts and start putting this stuff together. So test the back solid fuel booster in flight over Kerbin. That's in flight. Let's do all of our landings first. So the Rockomax Mark 55 radial mount liquid engine landed at Kerbal. What is that? Ah, that's this. So like Alifim said, this is an experimental part. You can see it's highlighted in blue. That means that I haven't unlocked it in the tech tree yet, but because I've accepted a contract that includes it, I get to use it. This part, not the best part in the world, but this is an excellent way to build ships using parts that you haven't actually paid to unlock yet. Great example of that is if you ever get a test contract for the nuclear engines or any of the bigger STS parts, the big, huge rockets that are very far up the tech tree, you can accept a contract. And as long as you don't complete the contract, you get to keep using the part on as many rockets as you want. Shh, don't tell anyone, you can totally exploit it that way. But we need to test these. So we're going to need a rocket that uses that. I'm just going to drag the parts over. RT-10 solid fuel booster. Wait, what else? There we go. RT-10 solid fuel booster. So let's go there. That was this guy. Here, let's put him up here so we can see him. We need to test that. We need to test that. What else? TR-18A stack decoupler. That would be under structural. TR-18A stack decoupler. So here's another example. Here's an experimental part that we're going to have to test. The TT-70 radial decoupler. We'll bring it over there. What else do we need? Set the altitude and then escape. Alright, so for this one, we're totally just going to do kind of a test run sort of deal. Check this out. We're not actually going to launch this rocket. We're just going to get paid to fire some things on the launch pad. So I can put this here. That's cool. I can actually put... I'm going to put 2 of those on there just so it stays balanced. I can put one of these on here. And I can put one of these on here. Awesome. So, we're going to be able to test a lot of stuff here. Oh, it would be better if I did it like that, because then it wouldn't blow itself into the air and then we'd lose it. This way we can actually recover it. So let's just call this test rig 1 and save it. So let's see how much money we can make here. Just right click and hit test. Yes, it'll actually tell you down in the remember pick up science alert. Bob, I will give that I'll give that a look in a little bit. But thanks for putting that in there. I'm going to actually open it in a new window and give it a check later. Sloan, you may be able to just click and... Yes, some of the parts do have a right-click and like run test sort of deal. So let's see what's going on here. First, we're going to test those decouplers. You can see up here... I really wish I could expand that. But you can see up here, I scrolled up and down until I saw test the T77 or the TT70 radial decoupler, and it'll tell me whether or not I'm meeting the requirements for it. So, am I at Kerbal? Yes, check. Am I landed? Looks like it. I think that's landed. And if you want to, you can expand the note, and it says, to perform the test, activate the part through the staging sequence when all the test conditions are met. Okay, that's cool. So, test condition Kerbal? Check. Test condition landed? Check. So I need to activate the part through the staging sequence. That means press space. Let's check the TT-70 radial decoupler. Kerbal, check. Landed, check. Note, activate the part through the staging sequence. Alright, so we're ready to do both those. Down here in the staging sequence, the only thing I have is the radial decoupler, which is over on that side, and the stack decoupler. So in order to complete both those contracts, all I should need to do is press space. Whoa! What? Yeah, okay. Apparently, testing that shot it at the flagpole and exploded it on the ground. And then I think I saw a puff of smoke coming off there because apparently it's given us the money for both of those contracts. So I don't think we're going to be recovering that one part, but we will be recovering this part. Let's see how we got paid. We got 126. Okay. We got 241. We might have lost money on that. I think that decoupler probably cost more than 241. But we did get 14 science for it, so whatever. Let's roll with it. What else do we need to test? Kerbal landed. We can minimize those. The RT-10 solid rocket fuel landed. Okay. And the Rockomax Mark 55 radial mount liquid engine. How do we test that? Activate the part through the staging sequence. Activate the part through the staging sequence. Oh. That's a problem. I've forgot something on my craft here. Huh. If I launch this thing right now, and I fly way into the sky, I will not be able to land. In fact, I will not be able to land this at all because I don't have fuel for these, and I can't control the solid fuel booster. So if I launch this rocket, Jeb dies and I lose the entire rocket. Let's not do that. Thrust limiter to 0. Yeah, that's a good point. I can't do it from here, though. That is a good point. I don't think run test is going to work. Let's see. Does run test work? Oh, it looks like run test worked. So we were able to test those just by right-clicking on one and clicking the run test tweakable there. But had I pressed spacebar, I would have lit this solid fuel booster. I would have shot Jeb into the sky, and he would have died when he came back down. Let's not do that. Woohoo, another 14 science. Let's not do that. So I'm going to go ahead and recover the vessel. Sitting on the launch pad, I should be able to get 100% for it. I think if you're actually on the launch pad, you get 100. Yes. So if you're on the runway or on the launch pad itself, you get 100% of the cost of the vessel back. If you're around KSC, kind of in the KSC, like say you land on top of the VAB or something, I think you get 98%, and then everything else scales as you get further away. But we got $3,000 back, 100% of the cost. Look at that. We're already up to 33,000 credits. We started with 10. Awesome. Jeb's good to go too. Look, we got 33 science. Let's go unlock some more stuff. Do we need this stuff? No. Do we need this stuff? Maybe. That's 45. We're not that rich yet. I like this LV-909. We can use that to go into orbit. So I'm going to unlock this... what is it called? Survivability. The art and science of landing and walking away from it. Alright. Research. That costs us 15. Is there anything else that costs 15? 18. To get these. And we might as well... I mean, we have 18.5. We might as well research it. So now we've unlocked all those nodes. Let's go see what our other contracts were. Test that out in flight. That's actually going to be more difficult than I thought. We're going to have to boost that back up to that altitude. Test that landed. We can do that next time. Achieve an altitude of 22,000 and reach space. Let's do that. Let's reach space. Yeah, radial decoupler is a huge deal. Radial decoupler, especially when you start to get into asparagus staging or drop tanks, radial decoupler is a huge part to have. So unlocking that for 18 was definitely worth it. Let's see here. We can take that off now. And we can take this stuff off. We're just going to basically start from scratch. Let's see how far up we can get. So we just have the radial mount parachute. Cool. And let's put this on top of this. Excellent. And then let's build us a little thingy that looks kind of like that. And kind of... where's the little... There we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the engine, the LV-909. Cool. Not a lot of Delta V there. But let's see here. What else? Let's toss a back on there. And I think I'm going to fire up Kerbal Engineer. That'll cost us a little bit of money to put the part on there, but we can just use Flight Engineer. Or not Flight Engineer. We can just use Engineer without the flight part and build it, then take it off before we launch. So that's a good trick. The Engineer is only going to cost us $160. If you want to be cheap and not spend the $160, you can use this module right here in Kerbal Engineer to just design your rocket in the VAB, and you can take it off before you launch and then not actually spend the money. Nice. Oh, hey, we got to follow Icebox. Cool. Sloan, thanks for catching that, by the way. Icebox, thanks for the follow. We're doing Kerbal Space Academy, and we're just started a completely blank career. So let's see here. Delta V, 3619. I wonder what the thrust to weight on this is. Because remember, we need to test it at the launch pad. Wow. Let's see here. Can I do this? What was the thrust to weight? I didn't look, actually. I said I was going to check. 1.86. No kidding. This right here is a rocket that we can put in orbit, which is freaking amazing. If I can control it. We may not be able to control it. So let's do that. Let's do, remember we had that test thing open. Orbiter 1. I'm going to call it Orbiter 1. And I'm going to go accept that contract. We're going to come back here and I'll explain. Wait. Can it get into orbit? Wow, it's so close to getting into orbit. If we gave it more fuel, we could definitely get it in orbit. Let me go accept that contract right quick, because we can knock a lot of stuff out here on our second actual rocket launch. Nice. Thank you. Glad to be here. Freaking attention hog. I guess I'm the one talking on a camera, though, so whatever. Sepratron. Ooh, test the Sepratron. What? Yeah, let's not do that right now. Test the LTV-45 splashdown. Okay. I'm just going to grab this orbit because that's going to give us 60,000. That's a freaking bank contract. So let's grab it. Because with that rocket we put together, we are not only going to solve that one contract, we are going to be able to orbit this thing. So anyways, remember, I'm running Kerbal Engineer. I love Kerbal Engineer. You shouldn't play Kerbal Space Program without Kerbal Engineer, in my professional opinion. And I'm on the stream, so you should totally listen to me. Kerbal Engineer or MechJeb or Void, the newer one that's been out. But Kerbal Engineer, we know that it takes about 4,500 delta V to get into orbit around Kerbin. I made sure that it was in atmospheric mode, so we can see right now this rocket has a total of 3,760. That's pretty close to 4,500. And I think if we take this and do this and give this guy more fuel, we can make this an orbit-worthy craft. What did we get? Look at that. 4135. That's a winglet. I wonder if we're going to be able to do the gravity turn using the solid boosters. That is going to be our challenge. Because looking at this rocket right now, I have the delta V to get to orbit, right? I've got a 1.7 thrust to weight on the launch pad. That's good. Having that thing as the first booster is also going to accomplish that first contract. Test the this. I don't think that it's going to accomplish the second contract because it's sure not going to take us up to 20,000 meters. But I've got good thrust to weight and I've got 4135 meters per second delta V. But wait, that's less than 4,500. You just said it was going to take 4,500. The fuel in this tank is not going to be used until we're almost out of the atmosphere, which means we'll have a lot more delta V for that fuel tank. In fact, we can look at it. If we click on atmospheric, we can see right now it says that's 1454 delta V. Out of the atmosphere, it'll be 1890 delta V. So over 400 more delta V. That means that we would have more than a total of 4,500 to get into orbit. So I think... Nice. What's the average? There you go. Y'all got it in there. Yeah. It's 45,000 or 4,500 delta V to get to orbit typically. So let's see here. We call this the Orbiter 1. We think it's going to go. My big concern, we've got this little command pod that has 5 units. Not sure what the units there are. 5 units of torque to control our rocket's trajectory. And it may be difficult for us to turn this thing. Let's go ahead and put some fins on it and see if that helps us. What's the cost of this rocket? 5,682. Alright. I don't feel too poor, so I'm actually going to use the Kerbal Engineer and Flight, Kerbal Engineer System and Flight Engineer. That one cost us 240. The one I had on there cost 160. I don't think that 240 is going to break the bank, so let's put it on here with 1x symmetry. What else do I need? We may lose that engine unless we do a powered descent. Because I have a feeling that that parachute right there is not going to be enough to land the pod and the engine and the fuel tank at under 6 meters per second. And the impact resistance of that is, okay, 7 meters per second. That's good to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to save some fuel, and when we try to land this thing, we're actually going to give it a puff like a retro rocket sort of thing and see if we can land it under 6. That'll be dangerous, and you'll see why. Can we fly this? Let's launch it and see if it goes. Who cares? Have the radial chutes keep me straight, but though, yes, that is exactly right. Hey, Soul Wager, thanks for joining. They will help us keep it straight, but they'll reduce the control authority. You are correct. Let's try to do it this way, and if it doesn't work, we'll come back and do it again. In fact, I have a feeling, let's go ahead and just say, since we're in test mode to make it a little bit harder, we're not going to revert these flights. We'll just fly it, and either Soul Wager can make fun of me, because it is in fact not going to let me do the gravity turn. Or we'll get this mission accomplished correctly. Let's launch it. Let's just go to space. It looks like a sword. It does. It's got the little, what are they called? The part of the swords that keep your hand from getting cut off? The, is it the pommel? That protects your hand from the other sword coming down and cutting your fingers off? Alright, let's see here. Panel lock, SAS, throttle up. None of those things mean anything because our first two stages are throttle are boosters. Let me move my toolbar over here. That's much more pretty shiny. Okay, am I staged correctly? Yeah, good enough. Let me just go ahead and drag these stages up and then put that chute in its own stage. So drag it down there and then put it at the top. Alright, that's pretty staging. Let's see what happens to Jeb here. Hilt. Pommel's the bottom part that you can hit somebody with, right? Alright, I gotcha. Thank you, the hilt. Launch. So let's see here. That thing's going to burn out. We should have just completed a contract. We did, because we had a contract to test that guy. Yep, landed. What did that pay us? Oh, I am taking everybody in the stream out to dinner because I got 50 credits for that. Just send me your names and addresses, and I will send everyone... Wow, 1 credit. Because we're at 30. I thought we were at 25. I was going to offer 2 credits, but apparently not. Let's ditch that and see where this thing gets us. Ooh, another reason we may not get to orbit. Because I have a feeling we're going to be losing a lot of Delta V to atmosphere. Hey! Exantor, thanks for the follow. Good deal. Welcome to Kerbal Space Academy. We may lose too much... Oops. I may owe, drinks on Valdez. You like Chinese. Totino's. Totino's was totally dinner last night. You're right. And we may all owe, we may all owe Soul Wager some money here because I'm not being able to perform my gravity turn here. Yep, there we're out. I'm going to give it the old college try. This is not the way to go to space, ladies and gentlemen. I just, let's see here. What's my apoaps? Alright, I do need to raise my apoaps while I'm doing this. But I think that because we had way too much delta V, sorry, way too much, we'll see. One way to find out. Way too much thrust to weight on that back. It lost too much energy to the atmosphere. I'll explain that the next time we go up. Let me see if I can put this baby in an orbit right now. I just got a Mr. 911. Hey, thanks for following, Mr. 911. When I get this in orbit, I'll do a roll call as well, because that's awesome. All right, what do we got? 1,000 meters per second delta V. This is not an orbit, I can tell you right now, because I would need this number plus this number to be over 2,300. I guarantee you when I put this node up, it's going to tell me that I need about 1,300 delta V, apoaps, 1,300 delta V to get me around into a circular orbit. Watch for the flip. There we go. Apoaps 70, periaps, where are you at? 69, close enough. This is going to say 1,300. 1,389, so we lost some from the atmosphere while I was running my mouth. So we only have 1080 or 1068 in the craft. We would need 1,300 to get an orbit. So what should we do? We should use our delta V to turn back around and land closer to the space center. Let's see here. I'm going to do a totally wacky thing, which is burn backwards and go back home. Jeb has had a change of heart, He is not going to make orbit. So we're going to turn back around and say, wait a second, I want to go home. This is ridiculous. Let's see here. While we're going, we escaped the atmosphere, so we got 30,015 science. I'll take it. I like it. Made some money. Set an altitude record of 22,000 meters. We got 11,652 for that. Okay. And then we lost $465 because we didn't put chutes on a stage that went down. That's interesting. We have deb recovery running. Oh yes, also I'm out of fuel. Whatever. It's my orbital velocity. Did I get a retrograde orbit? Looks like I did get a retrograde orbit. And let's see here. Maybe in the future we should put some chutes on our other stages. So one of the mods I'm running here, this is a blank stock, what's the word I'm looking for? Career? A new career we started from scratch. But I'm running a couple mods. You've already seen Kerbal Engineer. You might have noticed that my precise node popped up. We didn't really do much with that. But I also have deb recovery running. And deb recovery gives me money back if I safely land stages. I'll talk more about that in a second, but that may make some sense. What else came in? Ooh, other debris hit hard. Here we lost 500. Dang, those winglets are expensive. 900. We lost about $1,100 because we didn't put parachutes on that. Okay. While we're going on back down, Jeb, who completely had a change of heart, wanted to go back to the KSC, did not quite have the fuel to do it, is trying to get home. His trajectory is not going to get him there. Maybe Kerbal will rotate underneath us? Not likely. That's not going to happen. But old Jeb's coming back home. While Jeb's coming back home, let me do a chat roll call and see what's going on. Ooh, 911. Good call, good call. We're going to do an orbital ollie here. And, no, don't fall off. Get an EVA report. Got it. Go back in. We can do a crew report as well. Got it. 3.5 science. We are science rich. Ooh, what did I screw up, though? I totally screwed something up. Whatever. We are not going to be able to soft land this thing because we used all our fuel while I was running my mouth. We're not that poor. Jeb. It's like one of those motocross tricks where you like hang off the handlebars while you do the sweet like jump through the air. That's what oh yeah, maybe I should pop my chute. That's what I envision is happening every time you kind of do that orbital maneuver where you're re-entering and hanging onto the ladder. I picture Jeb a motocross superstar at like the Red Bull games or something. The X Games. That's exactly what happened. He was like sliding off the top of the ladder. Let's see here. Crew report. Thank y'all for typing that over there over and over again. Periaps is periaps. Either way, you know what I'm talking about. Space science. Totally forgot to do that. Wasn't reading the chat. I don't think I did the space science. 8.2 meters per second, and our impact resistance was 7. I'm going to go ahead and say that because we're landing on water, both that engine and the fuel tank are toast. We ain't poor, though. We'll be fine. It's a motocross trick in space. I wish I had an image ready, because I would totally put up a motocross image. All right. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this guy down. Chat roll call. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of people here. 33 people. Thanks to everybody for joining. Algie is here. Cool. Who didn't I read last time? Bekint BS. Welcome. Don't recall your name from before. Let me see if I splash down. We're going to lose the motor and the tank. As expected. Continuing with the chat roll call. Let's see here. Beacon BS just got you blazing 8888. BT Wills. Chainsaw Chocomole Civily got y'all Death Muerte. Welcome back. Doug Masters, Gene Kerman, Hag, Green, Harry, Bob, Icebox, K9, Golf Guy, 911, Rafatia 23. I don't know. Maybe I pronounced that wrong. Sloan, thanks for hanging out, Sloan. I've seen you more than once. Soul Wager, that guy. Traincom, and the last person on the list whose name I can't see. I don't know why Twitch does that. Last person in the list whose name I can't see, welcome as well. Let's recover this guy. All right, so we got paid. That flight was definitely a profit. We got 17 science from that orbital motocross maneuver. We got some money back. See, we weren't sitting on the launch pad. We weren't sitting at KSU, so we got 96.4. If we hadn't turned around and if we had landed somewhere else, we kept trying to go around, we would have gotten a lot less. We probably would have ended up with 80. Actually, that was almost in orbit. We would have ended up with a whole lot less. And Jeb made it back safely. Hooray. Let's go see if we can unlock anything else. 32 science. 45. 45. 45. 45. No. We got no love on more science. Let's go over here. Death Muerte. Yum, I hate you. Or yum, I ate you. Yum, I... Oh, no. Your cover's blown. You thought you were protected by having the last alphabetical name, and it just didn't work out for you. What are our contracts that we haven't done yet? The Rockomax booster flying. That's actually going to be pretty rough to do. But I think we can do it. It's going to be costly. It's going to be costly. Achieve orbit. We got really close with this one, so let's go ahead and put this sucker in orbit. There's a couple things I need to do. One is lower the thrust to weight on this, which means carry more fuel in this pod. So let's take this tank off. Let's put this tank on. Just getting a bigger fuel tank here. 4576. We were so close. We were so close to the orbit. So, I think that just putting that tank on there is going to make us orbit. Because that says 4576. That is atmospheric. I think now we've got enough so that even though our thrust to weight on this stage, when we light this back, the big booster, when we light that, it's going to be really high thrust to weight, which means we'll waste some efficiency to atmosphere. I'll explain when we get up and into the flight. Let's take these off. Soul wager. Thanks. And all over tier 2, it's time for a moon landing. Seriously? Let's focus. Focus. Yes, we could land on the moon. But should I put landing struts on it? Let's see how this affects our thrust to weight. 3x symmetry. Landing struts. And that's 4433. That would at least make us land a little bit better if I can aim towards the land. What else do we need to do? Put some chutes on here, maybe? Just got another follow. Blazing D8088888. Thanks for the follow, Blazing. Let's see here. Radio parachutes. I wonder if 2 of these will be enough. Let's just put 2 of these on there and see how that works. 4367. Let's give it a try. No reverting. Gotta get out of orbit too. Yes, you're right. I think if it looks like we're not going to have enough to deorbit, then we'll probably be running our mouth, not pay attention, be stuck in orbit, and have to send a rescue mission. After we unlock the claw. That's the only reason anybody watches this stream, is because we unlock the claw and then we use it to rescue things. Anything else? Did I forget anything? Get out of orbit. Watch it on mobile. Your cover's blown. Moon landing. Alright, I think I've got it. If I missed anything, let me know. I don't think we have any power generation yet, do we? No, we don't. We have to rely on the alternator in that engine. We don't really have anything there. Let's launch it and see what happens. Let's go ahead and launch this thing. Achieve orbit. We're just going for orbit right now. Keep it simple. This is train come to DOS. More fuel, thank you. More fuel, thank you. Uh-oh, the engine has no alternator. Trouble. Good to know. Well, that is what it is. If anything, we'll just have to emergency deploy the chute and to get the heck out of orbit when we start to run out. We're doing this live, though. Monopropellant? Why are we carrying monopropellant to orbit? Oh, well, too late. We're on the launch pad. I didn't fix my staging again, so let's fix the staging. That goes there. This goes here. That's right. And let's see. So last time I talked about losing delta V to the atmosphere. Basically what happens is after we launch, we're working against the air down in the soup, and there's a certain speed that if you go faster than that speed, you're pushing against the air too hard. It's almost like you're swimming through jello or liquid or solid matter or something, and you're losing a lot of your delta V fighting against the air. You'll see me, if you've watched me before, you say, all right, the first checkpoint's 5,000 meters going 160, second checkpoint's 10,000 meters going 150. Those are roughly the optimum speeds that you're supposed to be going at those two different altitudes. If you have a rocket and you end up going 3,000 or 300 meters per second at 5,000, can you go to space in that rocket? Maybe. Depends on the rest of the rocket. But you're losing a lot of delta V fighting against the atmosphere because you're going too fast. So let's demonstrate what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and launch this thing. And I've also opened up the... Totally didn't watch. Ruh-roh. I've opened up another panel in Mech Engineer, Flight Engineer here, the surface panel, that shows me the atmospheric efficiency. Basically, we don't want that number to really ever get over 105, 110%. Let us see what's going on. This thing's going to run out. We're still good to go. We're under 5,000. We're not going 160, so we're good. There that went. Now, look at this. That crazy thrust to weight, that 2.7 thrust to weight, now we're wasting energy fighting the atmosphere. Because this efficiency number is above 105, 110, we're actually wasting some of the delta V in this stage. How am I going to be able to turn? Okay, I'm able to turn. We're wasting some of the delta V in this solid booster simply because this thrust to weight is way too high. We can't throttle it back. Check my throttle, right? No working with the solid booster. There's nothing I can do other than wait for that candle to burn out. So let's see where we are. We're wasting delta V. We should be able to do a gravity turn, though. And hopefully we don't run out of... Yep, okay. Oh, nope, it's not letting me do the gravity turn. That's okay, we're going to ditch that booster really quick. I just don't have enough torque to pull that booster off. Let's do that and then do our gravity turn. Hopefully we're close enough. So, we're out of 10,000. Really, I don't care about the atmospheric efficiency. After you get to past the 10,000 meter mark, you don't really have to worry about it anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And you'll see, the thinner the atmosphere gets as this bar goes over, this goes down. We can go faster and faster and faster, and the atmosphere is just so thin, it doesn't matter how fast we're going. So let's see if this thing here gets to orbit. We don't have an alternator. Thank you, science teacher. Drag is proportional to velocity squared, so the more you exceed that by, or the faster you go, the more the drag hits you. You can post an equation over there if you want to, Soul Wager. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my typical launch profile when I get to 50,000 meters on my apoaps here. I'm going to turn and burn straight at the horizon. Not the most efficient thing to do, but it's easy to remember if you're new to getting into orbit. Now it's not really going up fast enough, so let me go ahead and raise it some and see if we have enough fuel to get this thing into orbit. This is good. I'm already liking how these numbers are shaping up. This number here is north of 1,000. I'm out of the atmosphere, basically. The atmosphere really stops at 70. But once you get up above 50, the drag from the atmosphere is almost negligible. We're going to shoot for like a 72 orbit or something. 60, 70, 71, 72. Excellent. And let's go plan our node. And check this out. Now the atmosphere is so thin, that atmospheric efficiency, 4.0. No big deal. Let's plan the node and see if this in orbit makes. There's that. Add maneuver. All I did was click on the apoaps, add maneuver. Pay no attention to the precise node behind the curtain over here. I won't use it this time. But I'm just pulling prograde on my node until I get a periaps. There we go. There's a periaps. And then I can click on the periaps, which will make it stick. I can see it stay. Normally you have to hover over it. Let's make that 70,000 and see if we can't guess how much delta V it's going to be. What is this? 73, that's okay. Let's just get into orbit. That's close enough. It's not exactly in orbit. What is this? Not the best turn, but we're going to have to start burning right now anyways, so let's just go burn. In fact, we may not make it to orbit because I just talked too much. 1,300. 900 meters per second. I think we got an orbit unless I screwed around too much. Let's find out. Another thing we can watch is this time to apoapse here, right? So what I want is to burn with that number not moving. So all I did, I pressed the A key a little bit, I nosed up, and that's gonna let me keep, oops, now I'm gonna press D and nose down a little bit. If I can keep that 0, I'll be able to get into a pretty circular orbit. That basically just means the way that I'm burning, the angle that I'm burning, I'm keeping myself exactly where my apoapse is. As that number starts to increase, you gotta aim closer to the horizon. When it gets too close to 0, you gotta aim away from the horizon. But look at this. That right there is an orbit. And we've got, do we have enough fuel yet? Yeah, it takes 100 meters per second to deorbit. So we totally have an orbit. How you like them apples? And we should have got paid for that too. The underachiever. You get out of the 3-second engine has no alternator, so we're going to be limited by time. The good news is, I'm going to go ahead and kill SAS. Let's get rid of that node. This pod does not seem to be pulling current right now. Watch up here, this is important. I was told this has no alternator. Some of the rocket engines that consume fuel have an alternator on it, a lot like the alternator in your car or truck. It takes mechanical energy and it spins to make electrical energy with an electromagnet. It's basically just a backwards motor. Some of the rocket engines will have some sort of alternator in them that can generate electric power. Always correct, Soul Wager told us this did not have an alternator, and it does not. So this is all the electric charge we're going to get. If that electric charge gets to 0, Jeb is dead in the water. So before that gets to 0, we have to get deorbital. We have to deorbit and pop a chute. Now the good thing is that this pod does not seem to be drawing current right now. You can see if I move, if I use the reaction wheels, see how I'm losing electric power? But as long as I'm not using those reaction wheels, it's not drawing any power. So we're good to go with that. I think we can do some science. Not quite dead, it does have a gimbal. But we wouldn't be able to light the engine. Would we be able to light the engine if we didn't have electric thrust? Electric thrust. Electric fuel? Electric charge? Let's see here. We do have a gimbal, you are correct. So how much fuel do we have? That much. Let's do some science while we're up here. Let's do an EVA right quick. Do an EVA report. 8 science. Not too shabby. What else? Let's go inside and do a crew report. 5 science. Seems we're very much in space right now. The sky seems mostly below us. Only probes required for mind pods don't. Good to know, thanks. That doesn't make any sense, but good to know. So, we're okay. We just won't be able to use the reaction wheels in the pod. We would only have the gimbal. But all we would really need to do would be, I would rather be pointing retrograde before that happens. So let's see what we got. Orbit Kerbal. We got paid for that. Contract complete 60,000. Nice. 30 science too. Debris landed safely. Ah. So because we put those 2 chutes on the big solid booster we were using, it was able to land at 5.3 meters per second. That means that we got $1,700 back. Instead of losing it, remember last time it said that it landed, hit hard, didn't give us any money back? Deb Recovery, the mod that I have installed, said, hey, those chutes you put on there landed you at 5.3. That means you get paid. And so we got 88% of the funds back for a total of $1,753. Not too shabby. And then here's the one we didn't put chutes on. We lost that money. It hit hard. So, let us see if we can orbit around and get back to the KSC. So I guess, Soul Wager, if you could confirm for me, the way that it works is if you are running a probe core, it will constantly require power. But if you are running a manned pod with no probe core, then it will not constantly draw power. And that's why we see right now this pod is just coasting through space, and it's not actually doing any power draw. I bet you that's how it works. So that's a good thing to remember. Yes, what he just said in the chat. Let's go ahead and plan the deorbit. So I will go ahead and time warp. This is important to watch for. Because I'm not drawing any electric charge, I can time warp and not worry about running out of electric. Normally, if you don't have solar panels and you don't have an RTG, you don't have any way to generate power, and you're using like a probe core or something that requires power draw to keep running, if you time warp, it's really easy to run out of power and then have your ship dead in the water, especially if it's a probe core. Like Sol was saying, the manned pod, we don't have to have the power on. We'd still be able to deorbit, basically. It'd be a little rough, but we could do it. If it was a probe core, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We would be dead in the water, dead in the vacuum, I guess you could say. So it's safe for me right now to time warp, and we're just going to go ahead and come on around the mountain. We've done a lot of deorbiting. In my other career mode, we've done a lot of deorbits, running those fuel missions to the Epic, running the Epic 4 fuel missions up to the orbital fuel rotary. If you haven't seen those, you should definitely be around for one of those. We've got 600,000 units of fuel in orbit. Capacity for 600,000. We're still fueling it up. But I know that if I put a node here and I burn retrograde just about until I hit that island. See, I'm just about right there already. Come on now. There we go. Just till I'm short of that island. It'll get me pretty darn close to KSC. So, oops. Let's use a little bit of our electric charge. See how that's going down when I move the craft. I'm spinning up those inertial reaction wheels in there. And it's costing me electric power. And let us do the deorbit burn. It's a 4-second burn, so I'm going to spool up at 3 seconds, which is 2 + 1. There's our deorbit. And let's see how we look. So we're coming in there. We're probably going to have to burn a little bit more to hit to hit the KSC. Let's go ahead and deorbit this puppy. Yeah, that's totally a cheese maneuver, Soul Wager. It seems like you shouldn't be able to turn the probe core itself back on unless you have a command source operational to turn the probe core on, but you can totally cheese it up and turn off the probe core, then turn it back on. But you're exactly right, that is a totally cheesy maneuver. In fact, when we get a probe core, we can demonstrate that here. But that is when everything else has failed you, you can definitely do exactly what Soul Wager... In fact, hey, TrainCom, cool, thanks for hanging out. Soul Wager, you just screwed up by answering one too many things and knowing one too many things. Welcome to Op on my channel. And now it will highlight your freaking name and everyone will know who you are. You've been hanging out and you always have really good information and you've taught me some stuff. So now you are up in my chat. I'm sorry. My condolences. It's not cheese to have... I don't mind the backup battery. I don't mind turning off a battery. But I think if the probe core runs out of electricity, you shouldn't be able to re-enable that battery. That's my problem. Being able to click the tweakable that allows you to activate that battery when you have no control. You have no command capabilities on the craft. This is going super slow, so let's go faster. And I do want to save a little bit of fuel for the landing legs. Yeah, and we're definitely not we're definitely not running a thing here. We're definitely not running retro. Oh, who was that? El Jambi? Thanks for the follow, El Jambi. Welcome to Kerbal Space Academy, where we're actually trying to explain some of the things that are going on. Everybody else is flying to Eve in a command chair. A lot of stuff that's been done. I think that one thing that's not done enough is teaching people how to play this game, because it's freaking awesome. So, nice. Sloan also working too. Jeez, Sloan. I appreciate the help. Thanks for helping monitor chat. Where's the KSC? There it is. Let's burn a little bit more electricity and go retrograde. We're going to start to get some shock heating here from the reentry effects. Not running deadly reentry. A lot of people ask me. I'm not running it. I do think that I still want to start running it in my actual career saves. Require a lot of re-engineering if we do that. But in the Kerbal Space Academy things, unless I'm doing a session specifically on that mod. I don't want to run it. I want to try and leave it a little bit simpler. So here we see KSC coming up. I'm going to be a little bit short. I should have burned it a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and take it out of that because we do not pop our chutes when we're time warping. Let us now pop our chute and extend our gear. That's not too shabby. I hope we're not going to land on too much of a slope. Another awesome Kerbal engineer trick. We can click on the surface tab and it'll tell us about what the slope is underneath us. We'll also be able to do some amount of science. A timer and a radio receiver. Isn't that... Oh, nice. Good deal, K9 officer. Thanks for hanging out. And I will highlight a couple things like this. The slope does look good. The slope is really low. We should be able to land this puppy. So let me do this. There, our main chute opened. We'll also be able to do some science. Check this out. EVA, while the chute is blown, flying over Kerbal. It's clearly a most precarious situation. Get back in the pod. Let's do a crew report. Oh, I can't because I didn't transmit that other one. That's okay. Ah, here's something to check. See right now, I'm pulling electric power. That's because I've got SAS engaged, and SAS is trying to keep my craft straight up and down. Or not straight up and down, it's trying to keep me at the heading I was at. If I turn it off, you'll see that I hang from the chute and I stop consuming electric power. So watch the electric power until you get the capability to... Is that going to work? Yeah, the capability to generate power. Impact resistance on the strut should be 12, and we should be good to go. There we go. We landed at 9, which is a little fast for a landing, but the impact resistance on these landing legs is 12. So we were good. Can I do anything else if I do an EVA here? Is it going to be flying over again? That's okay. We'll just keep it. The other thing that I could do... So let's totally do this. Let's store our experiments. All I did there, I had that one experiment on the Kerbal because I just got on the ladder and did an EVA report. I right-clicked on the command pod and I did store experiments. Apparently I can't store that, so that's okay. Oh, I think that's the one we already took. And I'm totally going to cheese it up a little bit here. Jeb is going to take a tumble in the name of science. Ugh! And because he jumped off the rocket, we'll be able to get a soil sample from the grasslands. Yep, looks like dirt. And I think we can also do an EVA report. Nope, we've already got it. So now the only thing that means, he can't get back up there. His little Kerbal legs cannot jump him high enough. So what we're going to have to do is recover Jeb like this, and we'll get his science. Can you EVA and then board and do another crew report? Can you EVA, board, and do another crew report? No, you can only have one crew report from the vessel at a time, I believe. We'll test it next time we go into space. I think what you have to do is you have to transmit the crew report every time you get a new one, and that frees up kind of the crew report slot. I think that's how it works. We can definitely confirm it. So that was Jeb coming home, bringing 14 science. And we also need to go to the tracking station, and because Jeb couldn't jump back on the ladder, get back in the craft, we need to recover this ship as well. So we can just click on it. We can click recover. We can say recover. And it'll tell us, here's the stuff you got. You got some science. 23 more science for screwing around. And there's the money we got back. We were pretty close to KSC, so we got 97%, $3,000. I'll take it. So look at that. In less than an hour... we were able to get an orbit around Kerbal starting from stock. We probably could have done it less, but there was a lot of talking and explaining done. Maybe that'd be a good challenge, a speed challenge to see how quickly you can get your orbit from starting a new career. Probably not as exciting as some of the speed runs I've seen. Let us go over to the R&D facility and see what we can unlock. We've got 100 science. I feel so rich. Big fuel tank. We don't really need to unlock the big fuel tank because we could just slap 2 of the smaller fuel tanks together for now. Tri-coupler, launch clamps, struts. I don't really think we need that stuff right now. Ooh, this looks good. Yes. I think that's what we're going to get. This is going to give us our first probe core, the Stay Putnik. It's going to get us a reaction wheel, which is awesome. more command authority, more pitch, yaw, and roll torque there. And it's going to give us a Mark 1 cockpit and these winglets that are actually controllable winglets. So I definitely want to unlock that. Let's do it. 45 science. Cha-ching. And what is this thing? A battery, more science, and a dish. I like having more science. We can totally cheese it up and farm a little bit of science here. So let us get this as well. Awesome. And now we've got 10 science. We know we can't unlock that stuff. I am, before the next mission, going to get caught up with chat, see if there's any questions, see if I need to go over anything or demonstrate anything. So I'm going to turn this way. Maybe I should put the chat underneath there. Anyways, I'm going to turn this way and have a look at it. Let's see here. Can you do an EVA board and do another crew report? So if you take the port out of the capsule and put it back into the capsule, you can have multiple crew reports. I have never tried that, but we will totally try that. Can't use a probe if you don't have full photovoltaics. You could. You can use it, you just have to put extra battery storage on there. As long as you have enough battery storage, if you've ever done better than starting manned, if you have enough battery storage, you can still launch that probe, you just have to bring it home before the batteries run out, basically. Or you could put an engine that has an alternator on it, and you can spend fuel to charge the batteries. So let's see here. This craft did us well. We don't really have any contracts. We've just got this one contract to do. Let me hop over to the command center and see if there's any other contracts. And while that scene loads, I need to get caught up with chat, like I said. Alright, good, more contracts. Take the crew port, yes, try it. Enough batteries, yeah, Sloan nailed that one on the head. Excellent. Did I miss any questions or anything? We were talking about, can we get multiple crew reports? We will definitely try that. Excellent. And let me run through see if there's anybody new in chat here. Oh no, what have I done? There we go. Ash, Ben, the silly, Dothmar, Green Ember, Dud, and the same people. L. Jambi just followed us. Lignoba, I've seen your name before, Lignoba. Welcome back. Sacred Shard, Yum, I ate you. Uh-oh. Yum. Somebody's got a Z in their name. They're underneath you. And for some reason on my freaking monitor, I can't see it. What is going on here? I don't understand it, but somebody can figure out what the last name on the list is. Welcome, last name on the list again. Landing on Duna. Nice, did it legit. Hag, awesome. I'm glad you were able to come to the Interplanetary Kerbal Space Academy last night, and I'm glad that you got to Duna. That's freaking awesome. Let me know when you actually get the landing done. Alright, in flight for 250, boring. Radial mount in flight, boring. Sepratron, 990. We're going to take that one, and I'll show you how to do those types of contracts. T18 stack decoupler. 13,200 to 17,800 for two. That's just not worth it. $2,000 is not worth the time that it would take to get that done. Launch stability enhancer landed. Oh. So observe. Remember we had talked about parts that are experimental parts that you can use before you unlock. Let's go ahead and accept this one. The launch stability enhancer. Ooh, a rescue mission. Ooh, we're totally going to take the rescue mission too. So we'll do two things. I'm going to get this one so it doesn't go anywhere. That says splash down. I'm not worried about that. Splash down. That's just not enough money to make it worth our time. 780 plus 948. Then explore the moon. We'll come back and get that one. That's one of the career mode things that won't go anywhere. So let's come over to the R&D facility. Remember I said I didn't really worry about this, right? I didn't want to do this because we didn't need this launch stability enhancers. I really wasn't too excited about the struts or the stack tricoupler. So I didn't research that, right? Observe, it is not researched, as my screen indicates. If I come back over here, I just accepted that contract for the Tu-18A launch stability enhancer landed at Kerbal. So, what we can do is close. We could come over here. This is a super bad example, by the way, I just realized. But even though we hadn't researched that stuff, we have it here. as an experimental part, so we can use it. It still costs us money. Does it still cost us money? Yeah, it still costs us money. The reason this is a totally bad example of using this somewhat exploit is because I can't use these things without testing them landed at Kerbin. So as soon as I go out to the launch pad and I launch my first rocket, I will achieve that contract. And then we'll lose these things, we won't be able to use them anymore. So, Minecraft texture pack, don't think so. 17 science. Yeah, 17 science. Yeah. Tokigar, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us for Kerbal Space Academy. Dead, landed on Duna. Nice hag. If I could give you a badge, I would. We're still working on that. Gotta go. Yum. Check you later, Yum. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. So anyways, I'm going to complete this contract. What I was illustrating was I can use this part even though I hadn't unlocked it yet because I accepted that contract. What else? We don't need these on this silly rocket. We were... What did I accept? Testing that booster. Testing a Sepratron. Testing that thing landed. And rescue. Let's rescue that dude. The rescue missions, they take you a pretty good amount of time. Not a whole lot amount of time, but it's more than 3 seconds, some of the other cheese missions. But the rescue missions are typically early on the game. Pretty good payback. I think you can see that one was going to give me what? It doesn't say over here, apparently. I believe it was like 70,000 credits we'd get. So let's see if we can't get a rescue done. In order to get a rescue done, let's just modify the rocket we already have. We'll take that chute off. We'll replace it with our freshly unlocked Stay Putnik. Looks a little ridiculous, but whatever. We will put 2 radial mount chutes on. That will also help us with the landing. There we go. Excellent. Now this time, remember, we don't have power generation, but we have the probe core on there. We'll test some stuff with that. I am going to put some extra batteries on here, though. Let's do that. What is that? 2 batteries? 2 batteries, 2 chutes. We still have the landing gear. We will take the Kerbal out of the pod, and we will use this puppy to rescue Ribimini Kerbin from orbit. I think we're going to need more Delta V, though. So let's put more fuel on this little lander here. Something like this, I think, will be good. And it makes sense to put them above our landing gear. And we'll check all of our thrust weight and that sort of stuff. So, 148 on the launch pad, that's a little low. 4432 Delta V, that's not too shabby. Let's do it this way. How can we do it? We don't need that down there anymore. That's 3971. What if we do it this... what do I want to do? Let's also put... Remember, we just unlocked this, the reaction wheel, so let's get us some more torque. But, let's put the torque down here. Because we're not going to need that reaction wheel once we get way up there. Man, that looks good. Might be a little dicey to land, but we'll see. Tokigar, if you hang out with us, you will definitely be able to get it to the moon because, was it going to be... I believe next week on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be doing a session landing on the moon. What do we have scheduled for tomorrow? Tomorrow's orbital rendezvous. So next week we'll definitely be doing a session going to the moon. If you hang out with us, you'll definitely be able to get there. Let's see here. 237. Let's do this. And I'm just playing around now. I'm just spitballing here. Let's put 2 of these on like this, which will fix our launch pad thrust weight. That's fine. Let's do this. That's fine. I'm going to try to put these little chutes on here. I'm not sure if it'll recover it, but we're just playing around. So I'm going to put those on there. Not sure that's going to be enough to recover those safely. Definitely don't want those to go off like that. That's the center solid booster. That goes when that happens, and we move that down. Alright, so let's check our staging. We've got these guys going first. 2.39 on the launch pad. That's good. Then we've got the main stage going. 2.37. That's good. Our little rescue craft here has 0.98 with, wow, with freaking buku Delta V. 2594. I wonder. Tokigar, hey, thanks for the follow. I need to get a little bit more organized, and I'll be posting both down in the channel description and on the forums, the Kerbal Space Forum forums, the actual schedule of what sessions we'll be doing on what nights. But I do realize right now I don't have the schedule posted up anywhere. It will be next week, and you'll get a notification since you're following me. But I typically start the sessions at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But thanks again for the follow. That's 4455 Delta V. Let's just take the fuel. We're not poor. Let's just take it. I'm such a bad pilot. We may need that fuel to perform the rendezvous. This is going to be the Rescuer one. By the way, if you have a better name for the craft, post it in chat. I'm really terrible. Toki, by the end of next week, if you watch the Kerbal Space Academy streams, you will get to the moon. I guarantee you. I don't know if I can guarantee you. You will at least watch us go to the moon multiple times. Let's put it that way. I can't come to your house and hold your hand and press the keys so that you get to the moon. So let's see here. We're gonna launch this puppy. We got our staging all set correctly. We've got batteries on here. Let's not be shy. Let's put extra batteries on. I don't think they cost too much. Yeah, those batteries are cheap. So let's put that many batteries on. Save Rescuer 1. Launch it. Bob's, oh man, I just barely missed that. Bob's space. You got to fly yesterday though, Bob. Hey, Big Nick, welcome. I remember you from yesterday. Thanks for coming back this evening. Getting to planets. We totally did getting to planets last night, and I'll definitely be doing another interplanetary transfer stream next week. I'm hoping to do one of those streams for each of the major topics. Getting to orbit, rendezvousing and docking, landing on the moon, landing on places basically, interplanetary transfers and space planes. Those are my 5 topics, and I want to do one each night. Throttle up, SAS lock, panel lock, electric charge. Let's go ahead and turn SAS back off. And where, oh where, is that dude? Oh gosh! It's time to launch right now. Look, he's passing Kerbal, India right now. For anybody who doesn't hang out with me much, we go for direct rendezvous when the ship is right there. I'm talking too much. I'm wasting time. We got to get there. SAS, go. I'll explain that more. I know I just hopped through that, but that was quite coincidental that Riboflavin, or whatever that dude's name was just passing Kerbal, India. It is possible to go to deep space, and how far? Everything's possible. Because you can always press Alt F12. I believe Scott Manley did a video where he used infinite fuel in like a mainsail on a probe core or something to see how far he could get, like how long it would take him to burn. Whoa, why did those blow up? Stupid radial decoupler bug. So much for that plan. Scott Manley did do a thing where he was trying to figure out how long he would have to time accelerate in Kerbal Space Program to get to the speed of light. In that video that he had on YouTube got him, I can't remember how long it took him, but he was burning for like a day. He left Kerbal Space Program running for like a day, and he ended up with a orbit that would eject him from the sun's sphere of influence. So yes, it is possible. He was using the cheats though, kind of like as a stock experiment, or a thought experiment. Here we're doing our gravity turn. We got to 10,000 feet. We were going too fast. Gosh, even that thing. There we go. We have to get into thinner atmosphere before it'll let us do that turn. There, that thing just kicked off. Let's go. And again, I think I may have gotten it too slow, but we can definitely cut him on the inside. We'll set him as the target. What's his apoaps? Oh, 118, perfect. Alright, we got this guy rescued, I think. Let's go ahead and continue our burn. Again, I'm burning at a 45-degree angle here until I get this apoaps up to 50. And then I'm going to kind of level off. You can see down on the nav ball. Right now I'm burning at a 45-degree. The horizon would be 90. The dot at the top would be 0. And this is a 45-degree angle from the horizon. Also from the from straight up. Let's see here. That's 40. What did I miss? Jeb is totally going to be crowded in here. Thanks for telling me. Not keeping up. Yes, it is a one-man pod. Totally flubbed that one. That one's okay. Maybe we'll leave Jeb in orbit, and we'll bring this guy back so we complete the mission. What do we have to do to get paid? I need like something that will play a sound or something to get my attention when I screw stuff like that up. Jeb is in the pod. I should just kick him out right now. Hey, look at that. Debris landed safely, so we made 2,200 back. Debris landed safely, so roughly safely, because the other parts of the debris exploded. Let's see here. That's 60. Now I need to start burning this way, because he's going to be way in front of us. How are we doing on Delta V? Yeah, still 2,000 Delta V. I'll take it. Does he have inclination? Not really. Jeb. Dang it, Jeb. Wait. No, we got this. We totally got this. Jeb is going to deorbit on the ladder. We're totally going to deorbit one of these dudes on the ladder is what's going to happen. Oh, man. I totally flubbed it, but we're going to put it in a lower orbit. That's okay. We still got this. Let's see here. And I'm just burning. Looks like I need more apo-apps. Come on now. Getting up out. Yeah, there we go. He is going to be way ahead of us because I launched too late, and he was... Normally you launch at Kerbal, India for an 80-kilometer orbit. Let's do... I'm going to see what the encounter looks like here. Motocross space trick. That's exactly what's going to happen. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's see where I... Oh, look at that. Look at that. So all we did, we didn't lose faith. We just kept burning. That Kerbal India is such a good trick. Let us burn at a 45-degree angle and try to go straight up to it. Look at that. I'm coming in behind it, so I need to burn closer to the horizon. Closer to the horizon. That lets us catch up instead of go higher. And then how is that going to do us? We're still on the inside of that track there, so let's give it a little bit more. 9.6. Oops, now we're losing it. We need to increase our apo-apps. How am I doing on Delta V? I think we're still good. Wow, that looks terrible. What we needed to do was burn this way a little bit. I don't want to waste too much Delta V though. I tell you what, we're just going to fix it live when we get up there, and we're going to talk about the nav ball when we do it. Does he have any usable RCS? Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to try to do. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just the Kerbal space conundrum we've put ourselves in. So, not looking at the map, I don't have a particularly good rendezvous right now. Our target relative velocity is 165, and we have 880 in the tank. I love you, Kerbal Engineer. Let us do this. We need to orbit bend. We need to push some green. So if you're new to the channel, you see me do this. You don't see me do this all the time. People who aren't new to the channel see this all the time. I've got my retrograde vector here. This is the relative motion... the motion relative to the target, right, which is the dude. And I've got the direction to the dude. If I point straight at that, that basically means I'm pointing my rocket straight away from him. The other node, watch that electric charge, looks like this. Now I'm pointing straight at him. Can I illustrate that? Yes, there he is. So when I'm pointing my little wingly thingy there at the green or the pink thing on the nav ball, that means that we're pointing directly at the target. See? Check that out. And if I point off of it, that means we're not pointing at the target anymore. This green with the circly thingy, that's the relative motion. So right now we're going to pass it. We're going to go up towards him like that, but we're not going straight at him. The other end of the nav ball, over here, watching my electric charge, now you can see when I'm pointing like this at the little pink X thingy, that means that my rocket is pointing directly away from it. That is a very important thing to know. See how now my tailpipe is straight at him. And this is the relative motion. That means that if I... This is kind of backwards. It's the opposite of the other vector that was the green thing that did not have the X in it. Those are my technical terms. I'm going to orbit bend here. And what I'm going to do is push this green circle over towards the pink thing. because I'm trying to slow down, I'm going to burn retrograde towards the X, and I want to push it towards that. So here's what we do. We put things in a straight line. We've got the pink thing, we've got the green thing, and we've got my wiggly ding thingy. And all we do is burn here. What that's going to do, see how it pushes that green thing? The more I push that green thing, the closer it goes to the pink thing. Now we're going directly at him. I'll tell you what, because the pink thing is very close to the green thing, totally technical terms, I know now that when I go to the map view, like that, I have a really close encounter. All the way down to 3.9. Remember, it was like 15 before. So, both are going to die. Definitely not both are going to die. Have to go. Oh, those are fireflies. Awesome. That's cool. Totally OCD or ADD over here. Place your bets. Will you survive? I should have a bot that lets me do a poll. Anyways, I've got a really good encounter here because I pushed that green thing. Watch. I can make it even better. The green X thing, I'm going to burn over here and point it towards the pink X thing. Watch what happens. See how the node, sorry, not the node, but the intersect should get me closer. Apparently it's not getting me that much closer. 4 kilometers, it must be because of a difference in inclination. Not really, we're just coming in a little bit behind it. That's okay. I could definitely burn towards it. Alright, I could burn towards it like this. And that should, how's my delta V, how's my electricity? Yeah, we're good to go. So now I've got the green circle with the pink circle, and watch this, if I burn towards it, I should decrease the separation on my encounter here. Excellent. And all I'm doing is trying to get a close encounter. 2.0 is good enough for us. So, now we just need to do the rendezvous to save him. Both are going to die. Seriously? No faith. Let me drink some delicious Dr. Pepper. Here's another interesting thing. The relative target velocity. And this is only valid when you're coming up. I mean, this encounter is 2 minutes away. If your encounter is 30 minutes away, you can't use this. But since the encounter is coming up pretty quickly, my target relative velocity, that's what this means here. That means he's going this fast, and I'm going 54.2 meters per second slower than him. Not necessarily faster and slower, but relatively, our difference in velocity is 54 meters per second. You can see it's going to change a little bit too, but that's roughly right. That means that we're going to have to burn about 54 meters per second of delta V from engineer here in order to make this rendezvous. To make our relative velocity 0, where we're both going the same speed, I can look at this right here and know that's about how much delta V it's going to take me. Totally supposed to... You can't talk, you're playing Minecraft, you're doomed. I told you not to get started on Minecraft. I warned you, you cannot blame me for spending a lot of time in that game. As long as you still hang out with us, though. So anyways, I think this is probably an important note. The stream's been going for about an hour and 45 minutes, and we've accomplished what we wanted to do. We wanted to start a new career, get some science, basically get off the launch pad and get into orbit for the first time. So I would count that as a resounding success for accomplishing that task in under 2 hours. We're still going to get this done, though, so let's go watch this live. There's riboflavin, whatever that guy's name is. And we need to change our relative velocity here. We can push the green. So again, find the pink X thing, find the green X thing, and make a straight line. You have to kind of imagine it here, because I'm saying this is a straight line. I need to point it closer. I'm going to put my wingy dingy thingy there, and I'm going to burn, and I'm going to chase that green ball over to the pink thing. See it? Alright, I chased it pretty close. Let me chase it the rest of the way. There we go. I bet you now we have a really good encounter. Survey says 0.2 kilometers. It's almost like it's easy to do. Just because we were pushing that green X towards the pink X, using the method that I said, kind of pushing the green, burning off to the side in a straight line, that gives us a really good and easy encounter with Ribosome up here. Let's go ahead and just zoom up to him now. Whoop! And let's, again, look at this. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just following the same procedure over and over again. Burn the green X to the pink X. And at the same time, we're slowing down relative to him. It's so easy. There we go. So now we're going basically straight at him. I bet you if I look at the map, it's going to say our encounter is 0. Not too shabby. It's almost like we've played Kerbal Space Program before. And we'll go ahead and zoom up to him at 5 meters per second. And do our orbital, whatever it is we're going to do. Again, check it out. Same thing. RCS, we don't need it. Push that green X over towards the pink thing. Just keep pushing it. Just chase it. Continuing to chase it. Look at that. We're going to bounce off of him. If I just coast, I'm going to bounce off of him. In fact, am I? Or am I going to barely miss him? I could probably play space baseball. Look at that. Thunk. Ouch. Give him a little bit of spin to make things interesting. And so let's just kill the relative velocity. I'm just burning it at the green X to kill the relative velocity. Ah! Too much. That's okay. Let's switch over to Riboflavin and have him come grab the ladder. Lost in... I feel like he should have an umbilical attached to him. It's like gravity. Except the physics in KSP are much more accurate than the physics in the movie Gravity. Alright, let's grab a hold of that ladder. Oh, I wonder if it's going to say ladder blocked. Can we get Jeb out with Ribosome here? Oh no, he fell off again, it looks like. Let's get Jeb out, see how this is going to go. So let's take votes. I think most people are going to say that this guy's going to die. Who should be outside the hatch and who should be inside the hatch? Tell me what you think. Who should we protect and who should we subject to the rigors of re-entry? I'm wondering if I should control the Kerbal and have him climb the ladder at the same rate that the atmosphere tries to drag him off the ladder. But anyways, taking votes in chat to see what's going on. Let me get this set up here. After I get these guys switched out, I will check the chat. But who should be inside, who should be outside, also taking bets on whether this is going to work or not. That changes crafts. Nope. That changes crafts. Jeb, EVA. Now we've got kind of the Kerbal surprise, Kerbal sandwich going here with space vacuum in between. Let go Jeb. There we go. Don't kick yourself too far away. Alright, good enough. Let's switch back over to here. That's Ribosome. Let's see here. RCS. Grab a hold. Board it. That should give me part of it. Ribosome... Okay, that didn't give me any money, but Ribosome is part of the space program. Oh, there we go, and we got some money. So we've completed half of it already, but we only get the big payout if we return him safely. Let me have Jeb grab the ladder so he doesn't go flitting off into space. There we go. Hang on there, Jeb. Let me read the chat. He's more likely to survive the fall from orbit, but he's perfectly happy to spacewalk until you can spring for another rescue mission. I think I've already said I'm going to do it. Jeb enjoys the view and heat of being outside. Alright. Jeb is a good guy. He's been with us for a while. You want Ribo outside. You want Jeb outside. TiVo, Jeb outside. Jeb needs to be outside because he's the daredevil. Jeb outside. Jeb has to be outside to pass. Seriously? Who put you in charge? Train. Okay, let's see here. Hag still riding the high of landing on Duna, which is freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome. Parked your fuel in your bookship. Dude, that's freaking awesome. I totally wish I had badges or something to give out. I'm researching stuff like that to see if we can't have badges. Souls, the mission requires it. Oh, I think that Jeb has to be on the outside of this craft for re-entry. I mean, I don't even know if we're going to be able to do the burns with Jeb hanging onto the ladder. What is it? Isn't it a... Is it shift? Oh, we can't... Can we flip ourselves around on the ladder? What was the thing to flip ourselves totally around? I am not pressing the button. I'm not finding the right button. Somebody told me yesterday, but one of the things I didn't know was how to change directions on the ladder. Superstar. Okay. So not only will he deorbit, but he'll deorbit tail first. He can't even stay on the stupid ladder in orbit. How far up does this ladder... Okay. So even when he's not... Can he just... Oh, no, that makes him let go. This is going to be challenging. So he will deorbit tail first, and I've got to keep him right around there. But I can't even execute the burn. Alright, if Jeb falls off the rocket when we're trying to do the deorbit burn... Ninja Boy 555, welcome to the channel. What's going on? We're trying to deorbit 2 Kerbals. It's like 2 Kerbals, 1 cup sort of thing. Oh my gosh. He can't... He's gonna fall off the ladder just with some sort of natural wacky physicsness here. Let's see if we can execute a deorbit burn while he's on the ladder. And honestly, if we just leave him in space... This is just a recipe for disaster. If I turn off physics warp... No, I can't even warp faster. I have to leave physics warp on. I knew that. And I can't... Can I warp on this craft? Nope. Can't warp faster than 1x when Kerbals are on a ladder. Let's see if he goes flying off when I do 2x physics warp. Compulsory physics warp. Okay, he's not moving. We're good. We can do 4x at least. How long is it going to take us to get around the silly planet? How much time? 9 minutes. What's 9? 9 times 6 is 36. That's not right. It's 54. Yes. 54, so that's going to take us how many minutes to warp through this? Maybe Jeb has already come unglued. No, we're good. All right. Sounds horrible. I didn't say anything about it. Jeb, poor Jeb. Can't EVA. Yeah. You can EVA the Kerbal in atmosphere. You just have to keep climbing in the proper direction. We're going to have to see. Remember we did... Alright, if I can't execute the burn, the deorbit burn, then Jeb is not going to go on the ride down with us. Oh, brother. This is the fastest I can time warp with Jeb on the ladder. This is... I've got the Stay Putnik even, which is constantly draining our battery. This is ridiculous. That's interesting. I didn't know you could change vessels while in physics time warp, but I guess I've never tried it before. This is exactly how NASA does rescue missions. Remember, I mean, we rescued a Kerbal in a box the other day. We should have just built a box on the bottom of this so that Jeb could have crawled in. Maybe that's a requirement for all future rescue missions. A box in case you forget to remove the Kerbal. I'm not sure NASA... Has NASA had to do any rescue missions? Every rescue mission they've actually done has been a self-powered rescue mission, I think. Let's see. Do you think... He seems... Alright, check this out, check this out. Comments from the peanut gallery. He seems to stay in one place on the ladder when physics warp is enabled. And when I turn physics warp off, he moves. In fact, he just apparently almost flew off... Yeah, he just flew off the ladder when physics warp was disabled. What if I land it under physics warp? Do you think that will give him some sort of magical... Oh, man, that's the wrong way. Some sort of magical ability to stay on the ladder? Because check this out. See how he's moving? And then when I physics warp, he stops moving? What if I move the craft? Oh, no. No, no, no. Moving the craft moves him around. Oh, but look at that. Look. Okay, okay. His helmet is stuck on the Stay Putnik. And he's apparently holding on to that door for dear life. He's going to fall off when the chute deploys. What if we make it so that the chute deploys at like 10 meters? Oh, man. We're going to figure it out. From here on out, the Kerbal Space Academy session is good to go. We started a new career. We did the first couple contracts, and we got into our first orbit. That's what we were trying to do with Space Academy. This is totally free play. 1001 ways to freaking kill Jeb, apparently. I do not believe that he is going to survive this, but we are going to try. Where are we at? Oh, it's almost time to deorbit. Okay. We're planning a maneuver node with physics warp enabled. I'll take things that I don't normally do for 5